All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. This is Daily Vlog 2025, number 144, right? Yeah, somewhere around there. So, today, I need a drink. So, today, um, I got a chance to actually run Daggerheart. And let me tell you guys, once you get into the flow of things, it is buttery smooth. So let me explain. On Saturdays, I normally run a Cypher system powered TTRPG called Tears of the Realms. I run it for Zelda Universe, which is a Zelda fan site. They've been around since the 90s. It's one of, if not the oldest Zelda fan site in existence. They're great people. I know quite a few people there. And a buddy of mine used to be the person that ran all of their Twitch content. And he contacted me about 8 years ago now and said, hey, would you mind? We'd like to have a TTRPG live play on here. Would you mind running like a Zelda D&D game? And I said, I'll run, but can I use something other than D&D? He's like, yeah, sure, what? And so our first campaign used a system called Open Legend, which was super, super fun. And then after 5.5 years, we finished that campaign. And then we started this new one almost 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years in July, using the Cypher system. Well, in order for me to run, what I do is every week I contact everyone and go, hey, planning on running the game on Saturday, who can play? And if I have at least 3 people, because I generally won't run a game for 2 or less people, we run. Unfortunately, for the last couple months, I haven't been able to run a game because everybody is really busy. So I called an audible this week when I started seeing that we weren't going to have enough people to play. I go, hey, what if I just run Daggerheart? It'll be set because this is the Legend of Zelda channel. The game will be set in Hyrule in some way, shape, or form, but we're just going to play Daggerheart because I want to try it. And yeah, I got a few people to agree to say yes. And so a few hours ago, I got to run my very first Daggerheart game. And when I say it ran like butter, it really did. Now, something to understand from me. I am a very narrative-focused game master in general. Like a lot of times, I don't run a ton of combat encounters in my adventures, just because anytime I run a combat encounter, it's because it's integral to the story. Like I don't do like random monster encounters or anything like that. Any combat encounter is something that's integral to this story. And so I'm very used to just kind of going from scene to scene and kind of following wherever the story leads us. And that works really well for Daggerheart. And it was just absolutely lovely and wonderful. This system, it seems more complicated than it is, to be blunt, because effectively what happens is, from a purely practical standpoint, you go, what do you guys want to do? You let them do stuff until they make a roll, and then if they either roll with fear or fail the check, then you do something, rinse and repeat. Like that's all it really was. And it was remarkable how simple it was to do things. Like, good example, I had them come into a city with just a vague thing of, hey, something's happening in this city. It involves the forest outside. You guys have to figure out the specifics. And so they get into the city, and the first thing one of the players wants to do is they're like, can I just, like, people watch and get, like, a vibe check? Sure. Go ahead and roll an instinct roll. And they rolled a 13. Thank you, phone. They rolled a 13 with fear. And so the 13 was more than enough for them to get a good vibe check. So I'm like, well, the city itself seems very, very tense. And but the with fear was, I'm like, okay, I'm going to activate an NPC. I just instantly create three kind of, young thug type characters, just little punks that wanted to cause trouble and stuff like that. And I have them come over and start an argument and try and get into some sort of conflict. And then one of the other characters, who is basically playing a Dark Nut, which, if you're not familiar with what that is, they are they appeared in the original Legend of Zelda and have shown up sporadically throughout the rest, kind of being used sometimes interchangeably with another enemy called an Iron Knuckles. But anyway, Dark Knuts are these big, powerful, armored knights. In the original Legend of Zelda, you couldn't actually hurt them from the front. And they would move all the time and randomly change directions, so they were really hard to fight. So it's just this massive, giant wall of armor. So the wall of armor moves forward to try and intimidate them. I'm like, okay, make me a presence check. And not only did they get a presence check, they got a crit. So in a crit, what happens, and I have to remember really quickly. Let's go to Daggerheart, playing an adventure. I'm getting more and more comfortable with the critical success. Well, that's what it is. Along with gaining a hope, you clear stress. All right, so I was telling him they could also heal a hit point. That was wrong. But anyway, so he gets a crit. So he gets to clear stress, which he didn't have any stress at that point because it was the second roll of the game. And then because it was a crit, so it counted with hope, I basically just had the mother of one of the punks just go, hey, you've got to go muck out the stables. Get over here. And that's how that was dealt with. And it just kind of flowed so naturally because generally all I had to do was let the players make their rolls. And when they did make their rolls, generally they got what they want and the story moved forward. And when they either failed or they rolled with fear, you just add in something bad happened. A lot of times the narrative that you're telling will kind of give you plenty of options for bad things to happen. Like I said, they were getting a vibe check, and so I just went, okay, you're looking around to see what you can tell. Well, you made eye contact too long with some punks, and now they want to pick a fight with you. Like, it was really, really easy. We ran some combat. And we did run into the slight issue of hesitation anytime it was their turn with the spotlight. Like, they just sit there going, am I supposed to, are you supposed to go? Who hasn't gone yet this turn? But once people started getting a little bit more familiar and comfortable with the thing, it went really, really smoothly. And it was really easy for me to figure out because anytime they rolled with fear or what's it? Brain is just gone right now. Or failed an attack, I immediately got to activate one of my creatures, and then every so often I would burn some extra. I would burn some extra fear to give my bad guys a couple extra turns and things, and it turned out exceptionally good. And very, very easy. The players picked up on the combat really, really fast. Now, two of the players I would consider probably close to expert level players, because not only have they been playing a long time with me, but they've been playing a long time, and both of them understood the system really, really well. The third one, significantly less experienced in TTRPGs in general, and even they were able to catch on really, really quickly and started getting really good. I did have a couple moments where I would kind of give them hints and things. Like one of the features of one of the monsters I was using, the adversaries I was using, in the book, I think it's called like a glass snake. I turned it into vine snakes because that made more sense in the battle that we were dealing with. But the thing about a vine or a glass snake is they're glass and they have spikes all over them. So if you hit them from melee, you actually lose a point of armor. And so the first big attack that Lex did, Lex was playing a wizard, was they went forward and cast this like AoE fire attack that not only hit both the glass snakes but also took out some minions. Well, because they hit two different glass snakes, they had to take they had to lose two armor slots, which was fun and really great, because they instantly and so they were trying to take out this snake, and all of their actual spell abilities were very close melee range stuff, but they were using a greatstaff as their weapon. I said, well, you can use the greatstaff's range is far, so if you'd like, you can just like point the greatstaff at them and shoot a bolt of magic using your greatstaff, and you don't have to take armor damage or anything like that. So that in itself was fun, and we all got into it. We had an absolute blast playing. It was a very, very simple game because I made the decision to do this like Thursday night. And so I basically had like barely 24 hours to be able to kind of come up with something that would fit into the world that I was doing it with. But even just that 24 hours, like I technically had two different kind of interesting and gig encounters for them to deal with, which I enjoyed immensely. And they only got through one, and then I had to cut it short because we were getting close to time. But yeah, so all the people that like I've had quite a few different comments, especially on my initiative video, where they're like, "Oh, well, that wouldn't work for me because it would be too much, or we'd be arguing with each other." It really isn't. Again, most people that are arguing about the initiative system are arguing about it from a theoretical standpoint. It's like, well, theoretically, this might happen. And to be blunt, it just didn't. And there were quite a few situations where if I had wanted to, I could have very easily just gone, well, it would make sense for this person to have the spotlight next. So what do you want to do? It was monumentally easy. And most of the issues that people described, which again are theoretically possible, just never came up, because despite the fact that this group had never played together, two of them had played with each other before, but the third one had never played with these other two people. And I had I had one player who tends to be a little bit more, I don't want to say aggressive, I guess confident is the best word for it. They're a very confident player, and they will step in where they feel it makes sense for their character. And so I had a significantly more confident player, and then two more players which are a little bit more passive. And I never had a problem with any of them not... Like, I never had to specifically turn the spotlight on someone and go, hey, you haven't had a chance to do a whole lot recently. What would you like to do? It all became very, very natural. And I guess that's the thing about it, is running Daggerheart felt very natural. It felt very, very intuitive. Anytime they wanted to do something, it felt very intuitive to run it and to switch the spotlight and everything like that. And I don't think that's something you can learn by reading the book. Like, I think it's something you have to actually try running the game. So everyone that I know, I have a couple comments on my last video that I haven't had a chance, or the initiative video that I haven't had a chance to respond to. I'm going to, I promise. But for people that are thinking, this really isn't a good fit for my group because of this or that, or I really don't like the lack of structure because I like structure. It it reads worse than it actually is. Once you're actually doing it, everything feels very natural. And yes, the first round of combat was awkward, despite the fact that there's no rounds. The first few times the spotlight switched, it did feel awkward. And then it didn't. It just turned into, you know what, I have an idea. Or what if I do this or that? Like, it just became something that was very easy to go through, and just felt like it flowed very naturally from one thing to another. And I haven't really had that experience in other, I guess, less structured initiatives like running Fabula Ultima. Fabula Ultima uses a variation on Popcorn Initiative, but it still means that there's less structure than D&D. And in the mini campaign that I ran, there was always that kind of initial hesitance every single turn to figure out, well, who's going to go first and all that stuff. And it just, again, this may be rose-colored glasses or something, because I had an absolute blast playing it. But it just didn't feel quite as much of a hesitation when we were using the Daggerheart version, which is significantly less structured than even Fabula Ultima. So, yeah, my absolute best advice, the best thing that I learned from running Daggerheart is you really do need to try it. I don't think, because of just how I don't want to say generic, how open Daggerheart is intentionally written so that you can use it to run something as silly as a Legend of Zelda RPG. Because of how intentionally open and vague it's written, it feels much more confusing. It reads much more confusing than it actually is. Once you actually sit down and do it, yes, there is a lot of kind of loosey-goosey wording that means that you don't quite have the structure you would normally be expecting in a TTRPG. But once you're actually playing it, it just flows very naturally. So, yeah, interested to hear from you guys. If anyone does have some actual experience running Daggerheart, let me know in the comments down below. Anyone that's been on the fence thus far, going, you know what, I really don't think this is the thing. I like my structure. Does my experience change your mind? You're like, you know what, even though it worked for you, it's just not for me. That's not the thing that I want to do. Again, put it all in the comments down below. Otherwise, again, it's all for me today. I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.